Welcome, everyone, to this session of Sang Alive Daily Meditations. I hope that you can hear me clearly. Maybe some of you can give me a thumbs up in the chat, just to make sure that the sound is coming through clearly. And as always, I'm really delighted to be here with all of you. It's a wonderful space to be coming into. Thank you for all the yeses in the chat. It's wonderful to be doing this together. And yeah, this community of practice gathering from different places in the world to practice together. For many of us, it's morning. For others, it may be a different time of day. And wherever we find ourselves on the planet, in the time zones, can we open to the sense of being welcomed by each other into this beautiful space together. So aware always that many of us are here regularly or have been here for a long time. And for some of us, it may be the first time, in this extension of a welcoming to all of us. Deeply, deeply welcome to this space of practice. And for those of you who don't know me, my name's Zohar. I'm one of the teachers that offer these sessions. I haven't been around for a while. Well, I have been around, but not in the Sang Alive session. So it's a delight to come back. So this session, as usual, will include some reflections on the theme for this week, and particularly for today, and then a guided practice and some time for questions. I'm just noticing Caroline joining from Bridport, and that's the extra smile. It's nice to be in Bridport myself. I haven't been here much recently. So today I'd like to explore, reflect together, and then practice together this attitude of practice as an act of kindness. I remember for myself hearing that phrase many years ago. What happens when we perceive, when we look at practice as a movement of kindness in the world and towards ourselves? And when we reflect on what has brought us here, what has brought us here to practice today, to this platform of practice, taking a moment to feel what has brought me here, what's the intention. Perhaps we can see that what brings us to practice is intentions of kindness, of different kinds. One of the phrases we like to use is all kinds of kindness. There's so many kinds of kindness, and I can kind of, if I could ask each of you, I would be surprised if there wasn't some thread of kindness in what has brought you here. It may be self-kindness, self-care, an intention to bring more well-being into our own experience. It may be kindness to others, to the world, which needs it so much. And so kind of seeing it, that whatever, maybe if I asked you your intention, you'd say, peace or equanimity or finding ease, or, like it may have different language, different words, different concepts. And yet that kindness is woven into our intention. And our intention is, of course, a foundational part of our practice. What brings us to practice, what we want to nourish and support in ourselves and in the world, or sometimes it's kind of what we want to be supported by, what we want to connect to, but it's two sides of the same coin. So kindness as a kind of woven element into our intention. We can also say kindness as a woven element into our practice, into the application of the practice. John Kabat-Zinn uses this phrase, mindfulness is kindfulness. I've used that a lot in this on this platform. And so we can see, it's already woven in, but we can also kind of tease it out, bring it out, and make it primary in how we attend to experience and how we practice, both in our formal practice and beyond. We can prioritize, we can highlight, we can emphasize kindness as a way of relating to experience. And this kind of takes us to, really core aspect of the teachings and of our practice, this understanding that what shapes experience, what makes experience, is actually, that what we pay attention to and how. The fact that we're paying attention to something, and whatever that something is that we're attending to in the moment, and how we're paying attention to it. And so with practice as an act of kindness, we're a little bit doing both. We're saying our kindness as intention, we're making it primary, something that is kind of in the background of our attention at least. But we're also bringing it forth in the how, tending to our experience through this lens, through this attitude of kindness. And it can be useful to reflect, when there's kindness in experience, when we relate with kindness or with care, finding the right language for each of us, with non-harming. When we relate to someone, something in this way, through this lens, how is our experience shaped? So when there's kindness, when there's an intention of non-harming, when there's care, how does that shape experience? How does it shape experience? Really, worth pausing there for a moment and for us to feel. And maybe, when we reflect on our lives, both in the relational field with others and the relational field with ourselves, with our own experience, when there's kindness, often there's less misunderstanding. There's more listening. There's more space, more patience. All of these interweave with each other. There's more resilience. This is interesting. There's more resilience. There's less friction. And there are therefore more possibilities of response. So kind of this presence of kindness, of care, of an intention towards non-harming opens up possibilities of response, opens up the range, which, personally I'm really interested in as a factor on the path. So as we explore this and as I kind of emphasize this today, also to say kindness is not one directional. So often we think of kindness and we think of it as, I need or I should be kind to others, or often even to the kind of most difficult relationships in our lives. But remembering the full range of it. It's not one directional. And a lot of what we learn through the practice is to bring it to where is most needed and most helpful. We can bring it to ourselves, we can bring it to others, we can just radiate it out in all directions depending on what is useful for us. And we can also direct it towards experience, not just towards beings. So this is really interesting. And that's actually what I want us to do today. So we're actually going to bring, this, go back to what I said in the beginning, practice is an act of kindness. Yeah? That's what we're interested in. And we're actually going to see as we practice, as we bring attention to an anchor of meditation, whether that's the breath or sound. If the breath and body are not a useful place to bring attention to, then we can use sound. Can I do that with kindness? Can I emphasize kindness in attention? So that's going to be the exploration today. And just to say, you may hear I'm recovering from a really bad cold, and so I apologize if my voice gets croaky as we go through the meditation. So far, it's relatively okay, I think. But just to apologize, or if there may be coughs, sneezes, and nose blowing appearing. So all opportunities for you to bring kindness to, even though I'm definitely not doing it on purpose. So yeah, just to name that before we flow into a practice together. So yeah, if we're not already in our posture, whatever posture is supportive for us for meditation today, just feeling into the body, checking in, what's the appropriate posture. And we may already be in it, or we may need to settle into it, move into it. And then whether you're already in the posture or you're settling into it, taking a few moments to make any adjustments that you may need to make. So that the body is as supported, stable and steady, balanced as possible. As we're doing this, the awareness, the attention already coming into the body. And we're going to invite it more fully, deeply into the body. Feeling the sensations of contact between the body and that which supports the body. And using these contact sensations as a place to gather the attention. And sometimes just that immediacy of the sensations of contact and allow us to settle, to ground the awareness, the attention. And gradually opening the awareness, letting it expand to the whole body. Softening and opening through the body. And getting a sense of the whole body here. Whole body. An awareness wide and soft through the body. And we're going to drop into this space, grounded, rooted in the sensations of contact. Same time, soft and open through the whole body. Dropping in this sense of practice as an act of kindness. Whatever that means to you, just dropping that in. Pausing and feeling. Into that possibility. From there, opening to choose an anchor for your attention for this practice. Maybe the breath or some form of body attentiveness. The breath, body are not helpful anchors for you, then you can also use sound, choosing one anchor for this period. And exploring what does it mean for you in your experience to receive this anchor of attention and kindness. So noticing the flow, the movement of the breath or of the soundscape through awareness. The intention to receive in kindness, to receive in care. So we're tuning in to that quality of kindness in attention. We're not being pushy about this, so staying spacious, grounded, curious as we explore. So let's explore this in silence for some time, finding your way with it. So noticing what you notice in this moment of unfolding experience. Gently opening with curiosity and gentleness and attention. Emphasizing this groundedness and openness through the body. And meeting experience in kindness. If you're with the anchor of attention, then deepening that intimacy, deepening that attentiveness. Exploring the kindness and attention. If what you're meeting is a more distracted mind, not with the anchor, can we meet that in kindness as well? And with kindness, recenter. Aligning with that intention, practice as an act of kindness. As we bring attention more fully and deeply to the anchor of attention that we've chosen for this time, into that exploration of receiving it in kindness. Over and over again, that's our practice. moment by moment meeting experience with an intention of kindness. Letting that attitude, that frequency of kindness fill the being, fill the whole space of awareness in the body. Receiving the anchor of attention, breath, body sound, curiosity and care, over and over. When distractions arise, they too are met with an intention of kindness, recognized. And then with kindness, re-establishing attention with the anchor that we've chosen. Over and over, bathing in kindness, receiving in kindness. The breath, the body, the sounds, whatever we're attending to in this practice time. For the last few minutes of the practice together, can we inhabit this intention of kindness more fully? Feeling it fill the body, soak the body. Move through the body, through the space of awareness. Holding ourselves, holding all experience in kindness. The whole being bathed in kindness. And kindness also radiating out into the world. Our care, our kindness radiating in and out, filling the being and spreading out into the world to touch all life in care, in kindness. When the bell rings and you may choose to bring the meditation to a close, maybe open the eyes, move the body, keeping that intention of kindness alive, moving the body in kindness, receiving the sound of the bell in care, meeting the world as you open your eyes with kindness. So taking your time in the transition, there's really no hurry. And seeing if we can keep that thread of kindness going. And in a few minutes, we'll open to questions. Just to say, if you wish to ask a question, you can put it into the chat. If you can put question in capital letters at the beginning, then I can see it within the sometimes kind of stream of chat messages I can locate the questions. Before opening to questions or reflections, I just want to say a few words about dana and dana practice. So dana, as we know, giving, participating, is very much a movement of kindness in the world, and we can reflect today that we're receiving these sessions as a movement of kindness, as kindness from others who've made this possible. And we have the opportunity to participate in that by offering our dana, whatever is possible for us, and that we wish to offer to support both Sangha Live, the costs of the platform to run, and to support myself for the teachings. Whatever you offer this week will be shared between Sangha Live and myself. And being really interested in this practice, here, this is offered freely, guys, from kindness and with kindness. And we can participate in that and do it with that sense of a practice of kindness. So I hope the dana practice itself is an interesting exploration for us today. I'm just going to put the link to the donation page in the chat. So let's see if there's any questions, comments, reflections from anyone. Everything's welcome. It can be about what we've done today and what I've said today. It can be about other areas of practice that are relevant for you at this time. It's all really, really welcome. And I know sometimes it takes time for a question to formulate, let alone for it to be typed in to the chat. So I'm very happy to be patient with that and see what appears. There we have. Thanks, Clive. So the first question there, I spoke about receiving the object of attention. Can you say a little bit more about this receiving? It's a mode of attention. So, and it goes really well with kindness, I find. So it's a receptive mode. Sometimes what happens to us when we practice is there's a sense, and it can be interesting to pay attention, see what happens for you. There can be a sense that we're kind of reaching out for the breath, or the sound. We're kind of doing this almost, we're trying to catch it, we're trying to find it. And so that's one thing that can happen. And with that, there can sometimes be a kind of clamping on, which is something attention naturally does. So the breath, and then attention's clamped onto the breath because there's this sense of like, I need to do something, to find the breath, to hold on to the breath, to be aware of the breath. The same with sounds. And so emphasizing receptivity can be really interesting. And it does kind of, you see what I'm doing with my body when I'm describing kind of these habitual modes, they're often quite limiting, contracting. And then a receptive mode is more like, I'm opening and I'm interested and I'm receiving in attention this appearance. And so it can bring more spaciousness. It can bring more possibilities of response, and it goes really well, it harmonizes really well with a sense of kindness. So it's like a listening is another way we can say it. We're listening for the breath. We're listening for the sound rather than trying to catch it or to hold on to it or to make it happen. So it's just an interesting languaging, and I think really to explore for you what that sense of receptivity can do. But again, if we think about experiences of kindness, this is a very immediate way where it arises. But of course, kindness can also be something else. You can also say, we can sometimes, if the mind is very agitated, a movement of kindness would be of some kind of oomph in the presence. that's kind of really attentive, like heightened attentiveness. You can still be receptive, by the way. So yeah, I hope that responds, Clive, and let me know if there's any follow-up question to that or clarification that's helpful. And yeah, we'll see if anything else comes. Yeah, there is one. Would you be able to expand on ways to bring kindness to the receiving? I tried to soften and be gentle when I noticed the pain in my body, but would appreciate other ideas. Yeah. So I think, yeah, it follows on really beautifully from the previous question. One image that I use a lot is the sense of attention like an open palm. Yeah. And like your question indicates, Tanya, it's, when there's something unpleasant, we tend to clench the fist and we tend to contract. And so what you were doing, the softening, is really, really helpful. Yeah, in the attempt to bring gentleness when noticing painful sensations in the body. Sometimes we can use, so the receptivity as an open palm, that image can be really, really helpful. And sometimes we can even use language to support us. So just like we would use phrases in metta practice, here we can say, letting this be. Just, I'm just letting you be, or even, use a phrase like, may you be held in kindness. So the softening of the body space can be really helpful. Sometimes the soothing energy can be really helpful, and opening to a kind of a warmth in the receptivity. So it's a friendly receptivity. Or that image, that language of listening can also be helpful, because when we listen, we're naturally attentive. And when we're really listening, kindness is naturally there. So just a sense of, I'm listening to you, body pain. I'm listening to you, body pain. Sometimes it may be helpful, actually, and kind to shift the attention to something else if the pain is too much for us. It's overwhelming. The contraction really builds up. So yeah, I'm just going to reread your question to make sure that I responded to it. Yeah, so bringing kindness to the receptivity. Yeah, that listening quality, the softening that you're already doing, and often curiosity and interest, really, really helpful. And just that relaxing of the contraction that arises, I would say, brings kindness to it, and that sense of warmth in the receiving. So yeah, let me know how that meets you, Tanya, while I move on to Amit's question, but I'm always happy to go back. Has been difficult to invest myself in the formal practice lately. I'm trying to work with that, also off the meditation cushion, and find my way back into a fuller commitment to the path, but from a kinder, softer, non-should kind of way. Wonder if you have any suggestions. Yeah, beautiful question. And just feeling the tenderness of that, the question of you questioning. I'll suggest a few ways, a few possibilities. I think, first of all, the attitude that you're bringing is really useful. A sense of, a kinder, softer, not necessarily a should way that is leading the movement to kind of more regular formal practice. It may be really worthwhile reflecting on two things. One is, why do I want to practice? So it's the intention, but it's also kind of connecting back to the benefits of practice for you. And that's this slightly other reflection, which is to actually remember and to feel what the benefits are for you. When practice has flowed in your life in the past, when it's been regular, what has benefited you from that? And then letting that, both the intention, what the reason that you want, or the intention that's bringing you to and want to engage with regular practice, and the sense of the beauty of the benefit of practice, and letting that be. So this is image, using image here, letting that be like a support rather than something that you're trying to reach and hold on to. Yeah, and this is what you're trying to do. But it's sometimes what happens is that we see, something like, oh, I want to get back to regular practice, becomes an object that we're trying to reach, and we're trying to get to, we're trying to hold. And the movement itself is a movement that has some tension and contraction in it, which isn't always bad. But if we can feel that intention and the goodness of the practice more as a support for us, yeah, that can have a very, very different energy. So it's kind of, I sometimes feel it like from underneath or from the back. There's a sense that it's supporting me to move back into this, rather than like this sense of a pushiness. And on a practical note, sometimes what really helps is going on retreat, to kind of regenerate. Sometimes we know what's good about practice, we know why we do it, and yet for whatever reason with life conditions, we've kind of lost the continuity. And actually immersing, whether it's just a personal self-retreat at home for a day or two, or going on retreat if that's possible, can just really help reconnect us in a more easeful way. So that's also a possibility that I'm just putting out there. Yeah. So I hope that responds. Yeah, may you be held in kindness. It is a very beautiful phrase. Thank you, Kathy. Yeah. So let's see if there's anything else arising. And yeah, this invocation from Tilly in the chat, let's carry kindness into this day. Yeah, as both as an exploration, as an intention, and sometimes, if it's helpful, with a sense of the generosity of that, as we incline our own hearts and minds to kindness, we're bringing forth something really beneficial into the world. So, and the world so needs it these days. That sense of that inclination to kindness, to non-harming, and to care. Really having that intention and feeling how this space here together of the community is a really beneficial kind of greenhouse, for cultivating that. Just the knowing, something we've done together, and then we're spreading out into the world, wherever we are in all of our locations, spreading out into the world as messengers of kindness, bringers of kindness into our environments. So looks like there's no more questions, so maybe we can bring this. There is a question. Sorry, Jen. What's the difference between having an inspiration and having an intention? Nice. It might be just a matter of language, and feel free to use the language that's useful and appropriate for you, that resonates with you. An inspiration, I feel, is often, something external that inspires me, but it can also be, like I was saying to Amit just now, a memory, a knowing of myself in the past, past experiences. An intention can be more, a sense of, this is what I wish to cultivate. So, often we're inspired, our intention is inspired by past experiences or by teachings or by other beings, but it's kind of more of a sense of a movement within us that is that has consciousness, that is kind of we're kind of moving in a particular direction through choice. Yeah. So hopefully that responds. But as I said, I would just say use language as is helpful and useful for you. It's a really good way of looking at it, asking the questions, wanting to understand, but also giving ourselves the freedom. So yeah, thank you everyone, and wonderful to be here with you again. I'll be here again tomorrow, and go well as we move into the world as messengers and vehicles of kindness for the benefit of all.